Over the last 10 or 15 years or so, apps have invaded pretty much every facet of our lives, and parking has been no exception. In theory, it saves you a little bit of time because you don't have to walk to a machine, you don't have to fiddle around with cash or card or enter your reg number on a little keyboard or anything like that. And if you're away from your car and you realize actually you need to park for a little bit longer than you thought you did, you can extend your session remotely. But quite infamously in the UK, our parking app situation has basically just been a complete train wreck. So this is a map of the UK broken down by which parking app is in use in each individual council area. I actually had to Google almost 400 councils and individually enter them into this map. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of these are wrong, but broadly, I think it illustrates the problem, which is that if you drive from one place to another, there's a pretty high chance that they're going to be using davesparkingapp.com that you've never heard of in your life. You'll have to find it on the App Store, download it, install it, register, enter your payment details, enter your car detail, do all of this stuff before you can finally pay for half an hour's parking for 50p or whatever. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, and for years people have been saying that this needs to be fixed. But it's being fixed. I am in a village called Bourne End in Buckinghamshire, and I am in a council-run car park, but I can pay for parking in this car park using any of 3 apps. That's Just Park, Ring Go, or Pay by Phone. And the reason I can do that is because Buckinghamshire is one of 10 council areas in the UK that's been taking part in a trial of something called the National Parking Platform. Contrary to some of the reporting around this, this is not a new app. What it is a software platform that parking apps can use. So instead of council areas connecting their car parks to individual apps, councils now will connect their car parks to the National Parking Platform. And then the National Parking Platform will connect to all of the different parking apps. So this means you'll be able to pull up to any car park in any council area in the country and use whichever app you like. This is also a really big change for the parking industry because these apps have had their business models so far built around trying to win these exclusive contracts from councils. And now that's going to go away and it's going to be replaced by marketing themselves directly to consumers. So in Coventry, which has also been taking part in the trial, we have seen apps setting up advertisements at car parks, basically saying, please, you should use our app. We have the best rates. And what we, in theory, might see is the parking apps trying to undercut each other, and it might, in theory, bring down the service charges for the use of these apps. I have to say, at this car park, I checked out all 3 of the apps, and the charge across all 3 of them was identical, so there wasn't literally even a penny's difference. There are some other interesting possibilities that are theoretically enabled by the National Parking Platform, but whether they'll actually happen is completely up in the air at the moment. But for example, you might be able to pay for parking directly in Google Maps or Apple Maps. That would absolutely be possible under the National Parking Platform. Also, new parking apps could enter the market and they could offer novel new ways of paying for parking. Maybe there could be a subscription service that lets you park as much as you want in a particular area or whatever. Currently, there's no public timeline for how long it's going to take to roll out the National Parking Platform across the country. And I would guess that it will take a few years because currently most councils are still locked into those exclusive contracts with parking apps and they probably still have a few years to run. But when those come up for renewal, in theory, councils will slowly, gradually switch over to the National Parking Platform. For the time being, you probably have to keep those 57,000 parking apps installed on your phone, but hopefully soon you should be able to delete at least 56,999 of them.